For thousands of years, we've looked up at the sky and seen this incredibly bright light. The one we call the morning star or the evening star, well, that's Venus. But what if you could do more than just look at it? What would actually really happen if you fell on Venus?
Well, the very first thing you'd realize as you got close is that all those pictures you've seen, the orange and yellow ones, they're not what your eyes would see. Nope, those are usually false color images from radar or UV data. To you, Venus would just be this brilliant, featureless white ball, totally covered in clouds. Now, you've probably heard Venus called Earth's twin. And, in a few ways it is. It's about the same size, has similar mass, but that's pretty much where the family resemblance ends. Because underneath that calm, white exterior is one of the most hostile places in the entire solar system. So how hostile are we talking? Get this. The record for the longest anything has survived on the surface of Venus is just 127 minutes. That was the Soviet Venera 13 probe, and it was built like a tank. It lasted just over 2 hours before it was completely crushed and melted. So, yeah, let's start our fall. Okay, here we go. You're falling toward that big white sphere, and the first part of your trip is through the enormous upper atmosphere.
We'll start our clock at about 150 kilometers up.
And right at the start, things are kind of nice actually. The temperature is a perfectly fine 0 degrees Celsius. But here's the catch. The atmospheric pressure is basically zero. It's pretty much a vacuum. So without a suit, you'd pass out from lack of oxygen in about 15 seconds. All right, let's keep falling. Things start to get weird, and they get weird fast. We're now at 90 kilometers. And just like that, the temperature has absolutely plummeted. It's now a freezing minus 100 degrees Celsius. You are deep inside an atmosphere made almost entirely of carbon dioxide. Any similarity to Earth is long gone.
Around 70 kilometers up, you finally hit them, the famous clouds of Venus. That thick, white, foggy veil that hides the whole planet rushes up to swallow you. Go ahead and take one last look at the sun, because this is it.
But listen, these are not the fluffy water vapor clouds we have back home. Not even close. These are made of tiny droplets of super concentrated sulfuric acid. And you're not just floating through them, you're getting ripped apart by winds blasting at over 100 meters per second. That's faster than a Category 5 hurricane. Right when you think it's all over, something truly bizarre happens. You fall into a layer of the atmosphere that just shouldn't be there. It's like finding a little oasis in the middle of this absolute hellscape. Down around 50 kilometers, the conditions become shockingly Earth-like. Seriously, the temperature is quite comfortable, somewhere between 30 and 50 Celsius. And the atmospheric pressure? It's 1 atmosphere, exactly the same as sea level on Earth. The clouds above even protect you from solar radiation. It's so hospitable here that scientists have actually talked about building floating cloud cities.
In fact, this little zone is so interesting that back in 2020, scientists got really excited. They thought they detected a gas called phosphine, which on Earth is a pretty strong sign of life. It kicked off this huge debate. Could there be little microbes floating around in the Venusian clouds? Well, it turns out the signal was probably just sulfur dioxide. A bit of a letdown, but the mystery of what's going on in this layer is still a big one.
But this little sanctuary in the sky, it doesn't last. As you fall below this temperate layer, you enter the final, and by far the most brutal part of your trip. Welcome to the Inferno. So you pop out of the bottom of the cloud deck, and you're in this weird, hazy twilight. Sulfuric acid rain is falling from the clouds above, but it's already so hot that the acid just boils and turns back into a gas about 30 kilometers above the ground. It's this terrifying preview of the heat that's waiting for you down below. And then, finally, touchdown! You've made it to the surface. The first thing that hits you is the heat. The average temperature on the surface of Venus is a staggering 460 degrees Celsius. To put that in perspective, that is hot enough to melt lead. Any lead or zinc on your gear would just turn into a puddle. And if the heat doesn't get you, the pressure will. The atmospheric pressure is 90 times what it is on Earth. That's the same as being almost a full kilometer deep in the ocean. The air is almost pure carbon dioxide. Oh, and a single day? That lasts for 117 Earth days. Your last few moments here would be surreal. The air is so thick, it would feel like you're trying to walk through water. If you landed on a mountain, you'd see this weird metallic snow made of lead sulfide. The sky above is just this dim, crushing orange-yellow color. And when that long night finally comes, there's no relief.
The temperature barely drops at all. It's just an endless, scorching, crushing hell.
So, you have to wonder, how did Earth's twin end up like this? The story of how Venus turned into this inferno isn't just some random piece of planetary science. It's a really important cautionary tale for us.
You see, billions of years ago, Venus might have actually had oceans of liquid water, just like Earth. But being a bit closer to the sun, it was warmer, so more water evaporated into the air. Water vapor is a great greenhouse gas, so it trapped more heat, which caused even more water to evaporate. It's a feedback loop that just keeps going and going until the oceans literally boil away, leaving the planet in this permanent, superheated state. That's the runaway greenhouse effect.
And that's exactly why studying Venus is so important. It's like a real-life laboratory for what happens when a planet's climate goes completely off the rails. By figuring out the path Venus took, we can get a much better idea of how to protect the path that Earth is currently on.
So let's just imagine your mission wasn't to fall, but to stick around and help humanity. See, Venus doesn't seem to have plate tectonics like us, but it looks like the entire planet gets resurfaced by massive volcanic eruptions every few hundred million years. Your job is to wait for the next one. So how long's the wait?
Best guess? You'll be waiting for the next 50 to 500 million years. You know, a small price to pay to save the world, right? It's just a crazy reminder of how vast geological time is, and how violent, beautiful, and completely indifferent the universe really is.